Beautiful. Right. Well, welcome one and all to our fantastic campaign for Curse of Strahd. I am your Dungeon Master, Liam McKinnon. I'm very happy to be here with you all today. Hello, everyone. Alrighty. I'm assuming everybody's doing good. David's waving to the camera. Noah's got a great background. Payton's eating wangs. Yeah, we're good. Let's just see here. Yeah, welcome everybody. We've been playing Curse of Strahd for a little bit here. Couple of quick announcements before we begin. Kylah is currently the person who plays Squally. Currently is off on vacation right now. So David's going to be controlling Squally for today's game. What else? The Fringe Festival has ended. Woo-woo! So that was all wrapped up there. The play that I was a part of, The Mine, closed, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience with some wonderful people. But now, yeah, gearing up to do some more just kind of regular auditions, and then also doing Deadmonton for this year. So if you guys are in Edmonton from September, October, November, feel free to come stop by, visit, and maybe it'll scare you. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I don't. Yeah, and I think that's really it for kind of major announcements or anything like that. I don't think there's really anything major to bring up in the course of this. Yeah, if you guys are first time coming through here, I mean, there's a whole bunch of episodes already. Still getting used to the whole talking about stuff beforehand. Yeah, if you guys are at all curious, we're doing some more stuff with Novice DMing, just kind of doing some promotional stuff, setting up some things. I've been kind of arranging to maybe do some special events with people in the future. Don't know what's going to be happening with that, but we'll see. Going to be arranging some writing projects, as well as doing some educational consultantships, which is going to be very fun. So woot woot. All right.
I think Noah should talk about what the new the big new project that Noah is entering into in a few days.
Ooh, Noah, you want to talk about the big new project that you're entering into in a few new days?
I guess so. In how many days is it? Let me pull up a calendar here. In 9 days, I will be starting my first year at Grant McKinnon's theater performance major program, where I'll have a hard-ass voice teacher named David Wilson to scream and belittle me.
Yep.
Which
cut you down.
Yep. I'm paying thousands of dollars to just be absolutely be professionally bullied.
Did you say you're getting paid thousands of dollars to eat ass? Is that what you just said?
I don't know what David said.
No, I said belittled. I did not say eat ass.
There might have been some. I said professionally bullied. I don't know what the fuck you heard.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I promise that I definitely did not say that.
Okay, good. That's a good sign that my
Liam might have something
university
else going on
teachers isn't saying that's what's gonna happen.
No, absolutely, it was belittled from my end.
Great. I was just going to say, in a 4-year BFA program, they must have changed the course curriculum entirely.
From just the 2 years.
It's good to know.
Time for that with 2 years.
In the 2 years.
Now with 4 years, we do.
2 years, it was a rush job, so you know.
Mm.
Yeah, so I get to be a struggling student and finally back at it. And we'll see. Maybe it'll affect the dynamic that Sly and Wystera have.
Yep. And we're excited to have you.
Yeah, on campus, we'll be sitting there, and Dave and I will be super polite and courteous to each other, and then we come here and just let out all our frustrations and just let it out.
Why did Wystera just get an arrow in the back? You don't even shoot arrows.
That's the misdirection.
Yeah.
Becomes slowly this gothic horror campaign becomes a murder mystery.
Yeah, right.
The misdirection. That reminds me. David, did you ever hear of the game Villains and Vigilantes?
Rings a
It's
faint
basically like
bell.
Dungeons and Dragons, but it's all
Yeah.
like superheroes.
Yeah.
And me and my cousin, we tried to start a campaign one time, and it was just the two of us, and we named our group the Terrific Trio in hopes that it would confuse villains, so that they were always expecting a third hero to jump out of nowhere when it was just the two of us.
That's awesome. That's brilliant. I love it.
I did not know about that. That's hilarious.
I could see that being a fringe show where you call it the Terrific Trio, and the whole show there's only two people, and people are like waiting.
Well, okay, I kept seeing stuff about the gorilla show. Was it actually just a man dressed as a gorilla, dressed as an old man, rocking in a chair for an hour?
Yep, it was.
That's beautiful.
It was. I went to go see a fringe show that was across the street because it was at the Grindstone. And the show I saw was like an emotional, beautiful musical that was made and directed by the lovely, I don't know if it was directed, but it was definitely written by the lovely Mari Berg, who's fantastic. And then at the Grindstone, there was an hour-long show with a guy dressed in a monkey suit who was dressed as an old man rocking in a chair, and that was it. And my entire cast went to go see it. They went to go see that show. And it was one of those shows that was like a secret show. So nobody knew about it, wasn't on the docket, wasn't listed. Even the people that were running the thing, I guess, only just heard about it a little while ago. I don't know what this case was. But what was amazing was I think that the monkey just said, I'm going to go buy everybody A&W. And so everybody in the audience got like a one item up from A&W from this magical monkey. It was just...
So performance art 1970s. I love it.
Oh.
Yeah. The in our grade 12 drama class, our final projects were performance art pieces, and my piece, along with Mieko and Dean Barham's, was banned by the school board. And Dean Barham's thing was dressing up in a monkey suit and going to the Devonian Gardens and go all around the Devonian Gardens, as in guerrilla theater, right? It was a play on words. So, but what happened was when the whole class went in, including the teacher, to the Devonian Gardens, we told the security guard, "Okay, this is high school project. He's not going to hurt anyone. We just want a gorilla going around Devonian Gardens. Is that okay?" "Yes, totally." What happened though is that the guards changed while we were doing it, and the first guard didn't tell the second guard. So the second guard came in and heard this ruckus and was like, "What the fuck?" And he came up and he tackled Dean, put his arms behind his back, and hauled him up and started taking him out. And all of us kids are like, "Oh my God, we have to stop." And we're looking at the drama teacher, and she's like, "Let's see what happens." As in the tables just got turned, as in guerrilla theater. So she let him get all the way to the desk, and the guy picking up the phone to call the police. And then she said, "Okay, hey, sorry about this. This was all set up." But it was a great grade 12 year. One arrest and one banned by the school board.
Wow.
Yeah, we did good. I'll tell you the other story about how my show got banned by the school board at another time. I don't want to.
Yeah, for sure. I was
I'll
just
keep
like,
the
what
audience
did-
on the edge of their seat for that.
I was thinking this was going to be like a college experience. You're like, no, this was banned from high school. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
High school grade 12 final project.
oh my gosh, it's amazing." Yes. No. Tune in for more Novice DM content to find out the exciting conclusion to David's high school experience. Do that as like a finale treat or something like that. That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah.
That's perfect in more ways than one. So I don't know if there's anything else to really talk about beforehand. Does anybody have any character questions, anything like that? David, I know 100% the situation with Squally. Please do not be upset to take time to understand what's going on with that.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll
Yeah,
try not to drag down the tempo.
That is no problem. Tempo will be maintained. Anybody else? Okay. If that is the case, then let us dive into this session for Curse of Strahd. Blah. Anyway, so when last we left off with our party of adventurers in the lands of Barovia, you were all heading through Kresk after having an encounter with the mongrel folk after they had been unleashed unto the citizens, the people there. What had transpired was you had gone to meet the abbot down at the Abbey of St. Markovia. You had gone there to just simply understand what had happened. And, well, actually, you were going there to catch up with Sly, who had gone crazy trying to go kill the rest of the mongrel folk, who himself had gotten into a confrontation with a flesh golem. You guys had gone into the Abbey to meet with the abbot and had discovered that the abbot was he was like recovering a wound that Vasilka had, and through close examination you guys had all discovered that Vasilka is a flesh golem herself, that she is not a living entity, that she is in fact a construct who is being constructed as a bride for Strahd. The abbot had expressed that this was a way and a method to be able to save the people of Barovia, and you guys there with Emil had, well, Eren had openly expressed, yeah, if you're an open enemy of the abbots, then I'm with you, my guy. The abbot had expressed disdain and frustration, confusion with this, but through a little bit of diplomacy, there was an expression that if you guys were willing to take the bride to Strahd, that the slight would be forgotten and waived, and good terms would still be had. You all left to go and discover the person that had been hiding out at the Abbey, however, which was Ezmerelda, a Vistani individual who seemingly had openly tried to kill Strahd when he had gone to the Abbey. With Emil, you guys were able to track down her scent and were able to go to this old tower that looked as if it was decrepit and falling apart, and then with Squally working a lock mechanism, like a puzzle, had entered into the actual tower, and then you guys had studied that there was a lift, gone up this lift, and then had found a space that it doesn't seem to have a lot of information here. But as you were descending, Emil got shot by something, and then you had discovered that Ezmerelda was outside of the tower, kind of coming, journeying this way, and you all had met her. With Ezmerelda, you guys had noticed that it was the burgomaster's wife, Anna Kraskovia. She was with Ezmerelda as well, and you all had expressed, okay, we're going to be able to travel with you, and then it was you were all going to go down to Kresk to bring Anna back. All of you going into the backspace, Wystera going shotgun, after helping to get rid of some traps that had been set inside of the caravan. And then Emil, you guys all requesting that Emil travel with you. And now you are all on this carriage being driven by phantom steeds going back to Kresk. Now, I don't believe there's anything else I'm forgetting here, but we're going to break this down in a couple ways. First of all, we're going to focus on the people inside of the actual wagon. I want anyone that is in here to make a you guys can decide if you want to actually look around in this wagon. It's cramped right now. Like, you got how many people? Squally, who's got 2 levels of exhaustion. You got Emil, Anna. You got Sly and Eren. You guys are cramped right now inside of this wagon. Really, the only reason that you guys can all fit in here is the fact that Emil, Anna, and then 3 of you. Oh, and Kari. The only reason you guys are all really able to fit in here is because Sly, I'm assuming that Squally and Eren are kind of like perched all around with you, and you're kind of like holding up these 2 individuals like right beside you as you're just kind of shifting and moving in this space. You guys can make your choices. You can make an investigation check of the actual wagon. You guys can kind of do any kind of checks that you're interested in, but yeah, you have a little bit of time just traveling to Kresk. Is there anything you all are wanting to do?
Wystera doesn't care.
You're at the shotgun right now, Wystera, so we're gonna get to you.
Oh, sorry. I see. Yeah.
No problem. We'll get to you in a moment.
I think Sly's just gonna probably do like a perception check just to see if there's anything around that he can, I don't know, make sense of who Ezmerelda is.
Yeah, for sure.
Nat 20.
Nice. If you want to, I'll say with a perception check of that nature, if you want to then add a level of insight with advantage, I will let you do it as well, just to maybe pool it to, well, you know what? I'll say with that perception, you can add an investigation check with advantage to be able to add a like kind of an understanding of who this person is.
Investigation over insight?
No. That nat 20 is for perception to notice everything.
Yeah.
So you'll notice everything inside of the space. You can then add a level of investigation or insight. You can choose one of the 2.
You can choose?
Investigation will do different stuff than insight if you would like.
What would the difference between the 2 be? Like, what would I be?
Insight would be you being able to extract an element of Ezmerelda as an individual. The investigation might be able to pool more information regarding places that she's been and experiences that one might have had. It's more of a generalization, not specifically about the individual, though.
I'm gonna go insight.
Okay, sounds good. With advantage.
It's a 13.
Good to know. So let's first talk about what the interior here is. We're also going to talk about the trap that was set beforehand that was then kind of set down from the curtains with the fire that you guys had all seen. That trap was made out of alchemical fire. Now, alchemical fire is a very interesting kind of mechanism. It's something that is used with you wouldn't understand alchemical fire, but essentially it's a small little thing that can cause a little bit of fire and maybe set somebody on fire briefly, but in the amount that she had, it was essentially going to become a massive bomb. If somebody was able to trip up a wire on that thing, it would cause a devastating explosion that could probably kill anybody within the vicinity. What you see in here is that there is a wooden trunk. So the interior is actually quite comfortable. It smells fantastic. It's a very it's warm, it's cozy, but it's also more just because of fine wood and like fine simplicity of things. It's not like the heavy wagons that are covered up with blankets and cushions of the other Vistani. It's more of a sense of respectable, well-crafted, practical craftsmanship. That's kind of what you've gotten here. And the atmosphere within inside is like warm wood. It's like a cozy fire that is like interior. It's pleasant to be in here, but while you look through the contents, it's very interesting what you discover. There's a wooden trunk that you can see that has like a bunch of claw marks like wrapped around the outside of it. it's marked up against it. It looks, some of them almost look as if they are random, and some look as if they are almost there by intention. Because it looks like the actual lock on it has a giant claw mark upon it, but it's like the claw mark was like etched in the actual metal. So it's as if it was an artistic choice by somebody. You look inside of that chest, you kind of have to, this is the chest that you're sitting on, so you open it up just while you're there. Inside of the chest, you see there's a battle axe, a flail, a morning star, a light crossbow, and there are 10 silvered crossbow bolts inside of that chest.
Just quickly, can I tell like what the metal of the weapons are? Like the axe and flail and morning star? Are they silver as well?
They are not silver. They are all kind of basic basic
Okay.
metals, actually. Yeah. Here you can also see that there is a narrow wardrobe which contains 3 sets of fine clothes. You got to kind of like move your way through the space. You're kind of like got to move Kari to the side as you open it up. The narrow wardrobe here. Actually, I would say, do you have the rest of the party kind of helping you open up this stuff, or is it just you going around kind of like shifting through the wagon?
I'm not really calling attention or not like calling for help, but if I don't know, if Eren and Squally want to help me rummage through their stuff, I'm not going to turn them away from it, but I'll leave that up to Padon and David to decide if they're helping me rummage through, or if they're just going to sit there and kind of look at me do this.
I don't know. I think Eren feels a little awkward, just like rummaging through the shit. He's
Sounds good.
probably just gonna hang.
Sure, if that's the case, then that's Sly. I'll say that you're just awkwardly moving through the whole space. You discover that inside of the wardrobe, there's 3 sets of fine clothes. There's 2 sets of traveler's clothes. There's like several pairs of shoes, and each of them is like almost like to be color coordinated. The fine clothes are also of different stylings. They are like, some can be fashioned to be like tight tailor made. They all seem to be able to fit a woman. They are some that are very lavish, some of them that are very muted in their color tones, and some that are like it's hard to say. It looks almost otherworldly in terms of its actual markers. The same goes for the common clothes. You also see that there is a mask that is set inside of a drawer, and as well as 3 different wigs. One of them that's very colorful, again, one of them that seems very simplistic, and one that is like kind of like a shortcut bob effect. But one of them is like a very long-haired kind of mix in with like a straight black that goes down. The mask itself is one that you can see. It's like a Harlequin mask, but you can see that it kind of wraps around. It's very subtle, very feminine, but it would be able to hide someone's like kind of like cheekbones. It kind of rides down the face, comes around, and there's like a beautiful like red, orange, and white tones into it. You also see that there is in another drawer, shifting over, there's a climber's kit, there's a disguise kit, a healer's kit, and a poisoner's kit. All of this in like 4 different drawers. Like the kits are laid out with all of like different fitted positions for all the tools. You can see that there is a lyre with golden strings that is set in one part on a little kind of a little what is it called? Like a little curio that's inside of this space. You can see that there is a sculpted wooden cage. There's holding a chicken and like a silver ewer with 5 chicken eggs in it. So there's just like a chicken just it's kind of like moving through. There's a tiny wooden box that's looks very ornate, very fine. It's closed at the present moment. You can see that there's like a set of copper pots and pans off in one space. You can see that there are 3 sets of manacles. There's a shovel, like this really like worn out shovel that has like a dent in it, and like a little bit of dried blood. You can see that there is a wooden chest that is also closed at the moment, but it's pretty large as well. Like this is a big chest. You notice that there are 2 scrolls that are wrapped up in a corner in a space. You notice as well, hanging up on the wall, there is a map. Now, this is a map that I've given you guys before. This is a map that is to the lands of Barovia, with full indication. There's no marked locations on this map, but there's a clear indication of the pathways that go like off the road and the main road itself throughout the valley. You also notice that there seems to be a charred piece of paper that is kind of like put in between a couple of books.
I'll kind of just like shimmy that paper out, trying to not crumple it, I guess.
For sure. I want to ask you, do you want to look through the 2 different boxes, the smaller one and the larger one?
They're in the chest, right? That's what you said?
There's 2 no, so there's 2, like there's a little box and there is a kind of like a mid-sized chest. Not the size of the chest that had the weapons in it, but there's another chest that you could look in.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go through them.
Okay.
I'll start with the charred piece of paper and look at that, and then I'll go to the medium chest.
Sounds good. I'm gonna be right back and grab that charred piece of paper. Okay. Now, would you like me to read what you find on this charred piece of paper here, Sly?
Sure.
All right. I will say that in this entire exploration of the space, it's going to be the main extent of your look through the actual wagon here. So this is what you read from this charred piece of paper. For more than 3 decades now, I have undertaken to investigate and expose creatures of darkness to the purifying light of truth and knowledge. Hero, I am named in some circles. Sage and master hunter, I am called in others. That I have survived countless supernatural assaults is seen as a marvel amongst my peers. My name is spoken with fear and loathing among my foes. In truth, this virtuous calling began as an obsessive effort to destroy a vampire that murdered my child. And that has become, for me, a tedious and bleak career. Even as my life of hunting monsters began, I felt the weight of time on my weary shoulders. Today, I am a man who has simply lived too long. Like a regretful lich, I find myself inexorably bound to an existence I sought out of madness and seemingly must now endure for all eternity. Of course, I shall die, but whether I shall ever rest in my grave haunts my idle thoughts and torments me in my dreams. I expect that those who think me a hero will change their minds when they know the whole truth about my life as a hunter of the unnatural. Nevertheless, I must reveal here and now that I have been the indirect yet certain cause of many deaths and the loss of many good friends. Mistake me not. I do not merely feel sorry for myself, Rather, I come to grips with a devastating realization. I now see that I am the object of a baleful Vistani curse. More tragically, the nature of this hex is such that I have not borne the brunt of it. Instead, far worse, those who surround me have fallen victim to it. I have related the tragic story of how my only child, Erasmus, was taken by Vistani and sold to a vampire. I explained how Erasmus was made a minion of the Night Stalker, and how it was my miserable part to free him from that fate at the point of a stake. What I have neglected to illuminate before is how I tracked Erasmus's kidnappers across the land, or how I extracted Erasmus's whereabouts from them. In fact, the Vistani took Erasmus with my own unwitting permission. They had brought an extremely ill member of their tribe to me one evening and insisted that I treat him, but I was unable to save the young man's life. In fear of their retribution, I begged the Vistani to take anything of mine if only they would withhold their terrifying powers, of which I knew nothing. To my lasting astonishment, they chose to surreptitiously take my son in exchange for their loss. By the time I realized what had occurred, they were already an hour gone. Incensed beyond reason, I strapped the body of the dead young man to my horse and doggedly followed the Vistani caravan through the woods, naively allowing the sun to set before me without seeking shelter from the night. Shortly after darkness fell, I was beset by undead that would have slain me, had not their master, a lich, intervened and spared my life for reasons that I do not completely understand. He somehow detected me and, with his powerful magic, took control of a pack of zombies that wandered in the forest. He spoke to me through the mouths of the dead things and placed a magic ward against undead on me. Then animated the dead. Then animated the dead Vistani and bade it tell me where I could find its people. Unfortunately, I say in hindsight, the plan worked. I found the child stealers, and my unwelcome entourage included a growing horde of voracious undead that could not touch me, thanks to the Lich's ward. When I found the caravan, I threatened to set the zombies on the Vistani unless they returned my dear boy. They replied that he had been sold to the vampire, Baron Metis. Something inside me snapped. I released the zombies and the entire tribe was eaten alive. Yet the story has not ended. Before she died, the leader cursed me, saying, "Live you always among monsters and see everyone you love die beneath their claws." Even now, so many years later, I can hear her words with painful clarity. A short time later, I found my dear Erasmus made into a vampire. He begged me to end his curse, which I did with a heavy heart. The darkness had torn him from my loving arms forever, and I foolishly believed that the curse had exacted its deadly toll. I wept until an insatiate desire for vengeance filled the bottomless rift in my heart. Sly, I want to ask you two things. First, I want to ask you, in reading this letter, do you read it aloud or do you read it yourself, like in this little journal entry?
Hmm. I would just read it to himself.
All right. The second question I have to ask you is, in reading this to yourself, do you at all at any point become aware of the black smoke beginning to billow out from you as you read about the vengeance that has been brought and the undead and their control? Do you think Sly's focus at all turns to himself in this, or is he
No.
just locked in it?
No,
All right.
he's not really thinking like, oh, I'm starting to billow out and get upset. It's just when he's reading this about this person able to control the undead and this whole letter and whatnot, it's just slowly billowing out of him unconsciously.
I will say, Eren, you, Squally, Kari, see Sly reading this journal entry and begin to notice the smoke coming off of Sly.
Okay, well, I'd go up to Sly and just, I guess, just try to comfort him. Like, I wouldn't really say anything. I'd probably just like rub his back a little. Just see if he kind of notices or if he's just
I think Sly's just locked into this letter and like what it's saying. Like he's just not really like the light touch of Eren isn't really gonna snap him out of this.
I might just try to like do one of these in front of his face, you know? Like, hey, buddy.
Sly just glares at Eren with it. Like not mad at Eren, but just like unimpressed by like he's like, really? Like I'm not a fucking idiot. Like I know you're there. One of those looks.
Oh, I'm not trying to be like, it's just you're starting to smoke how you do sometimes.
Sly just hands the letter to Eren.
Okay. I'll take a peek at the letter.
Sure. Sly, you wanted to look in the other apartments while you were doing this?
Yeah, well, while Aaron's looking at the letter, Sly's gonna rummage through the medium chest.
Sure. The medium chest, you open this up, and what you see is that there is a golden holy symbol that seems to belong to make a religion check.
That's a 5.
I mean, it's a sun. That's the one thing you kind of pull from, but you don't know what this like subscribes to specifically. You do see, I'll say with the sake of it, you see in here that there are 3 vials of water. There are 3 vials of another liquid that you're uncertain of. There's 2 vials of another liquid that you're uncertain of. There's 50 feet of rope. There's a tinderbox. There's like a steel mirror, which is this mirror is interesting. It's not like a reflective just soul mirror here. This is a mirror that is one that is of the kind of the flat sheet where it's like you look at it and you don't fully see yourself. You just simply see a dark figure of your own self. In kind of the details of it, the best way I can kind of describe it is that this is one of the like the old mirrors where it's like you look and there is a cast figure here for yourself, but it's like a silhouette almost. Like you don't make out the full details of your own features on it. You can also, as you lift that up, you see that there is a spyglass and a sharpened wooden stake.
Sorry, Okay. I think Sly just kind of takes inventory of it and then just kind of like slides that box to the other end out of the way. And
Sure,
then
you
just
kind of make your
opens-
way. You make your way over to the opposite end of the wagon as you're just like moving through. Excuse me, and set that down.
Yeah, just like move it out of the way and just start working on the other box.
Sure. You open up the smaller box, and inside you see a deck of cards similar to the cards that Madame Ava had used for your guys' reading when you entered into Barovia. It seems that
like-
Ezmerelda has a Taroka deck.
Okay.
Sly, I'm gonna move from you in a moment here, but is there anything else that you want to discern with this? Is there anything else? I will tell you what you discern off of your insight here to kind of let you know, and you can let me know if there's anything here you want to do. What you get here is that all the contents that Ezmerelda has in here this is basically a preparation wagon that is ready to work in any particular circumstance, not just in Barovia, but beyond. It seems that whatever Ezmerelda plans, she's like almost, it seems like she's a hunter of multiple worlds. You don't know the extent of the journal entry, but for some reason, it looks as if this was of an important, it looks like this was an important feature when you're noticing hunters. Maybe this is someone who respects it. Maybe it's like a cautionary tale that she kind of has. You also notice that with it, it seems as if that Ezmerelda has given herself equipment to be self-sufficient, to be as self-sufficient as possible in this space.
Alrighty. Did the letters have a name? Like it sounded like it was like a journal entry. Was just like torn out of a journal. It wasn't like a letter written.
It looks like it was burned. It looks like it was a burned entry, but it failed to completely burn. And yeah,
Okay.
it didn't have a name on it.
Okay. Okay.
Just had the names in the actual letter.
Gotcha.
Eren and Squally, is there anything that Eren and Squally are doing presently inside of the wagon?
Squally didn't really. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm just reading the letter now because Sly gave that to me, so I'm just taking that in.
For sure.
Yeah, I think Squally sort of cuddled up to Eren to read the letter with.
Yeah, I'll do that thing where you kind of like
Yeah.
just lean
Sounds
in
good.
so they can
Both
read it too.
are taking that all in.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Everybody's getting a little look at this letter. Kari, in this moment, is mainly talking to Anna. She looks at Anna and says, "So, interesting seeing you show up here. And what are you doing here? What are you doing in this whole thing?" Anna says, "Well, I was not. It seems that young 1 second, let's look at this. Seems that the young D'Avenir, she was traveling outside of the town of Valaki, where I was venturing from. And my band of guardians, my protectors, my guards, they had been assailed by wolves, and unfortunately they were unable to survive the attack. And then D'Avenir, she was able to protect me, and it got me to safety and brought me to was bringing me to the tower to keep me safe before we could travel to Kresk. But yes, that is why I'm here right now." Kari says, "You didn't You didn't know her before? No, no, she's a complete stranger to myself. I didn't even see her, but it seems as if people know a little bit about her. It seems that she had said she went to Kresk before. She said she would just drop me off and then turn around. That was all she said. But yes, I'm concerned after she had told me why she had left and what the circumstances was. She seemed glad to be able to speak to me, especially regarding the abbot. She seems to feel that I should speak to my husband about having the abbot be sent out of Kresk and be able to actually arrange for that process. Kari kind of looks at all you guys at this and says, well, I think we have every reason to maybe support that idea. I think like having the abbot in Kresk is kind of like a bad idea. Like, yeah. Kari's also kind of looking to you guys, like kind of like, do we tell her? Do we tell her like what just happened, like what we saw?
We think the abbot kind of lost his marbles a little bit.
Anna says, well, it's not surprising to me to know that, I mean, the abbot is powerful, but it certainly seems as if that the power and being surrounded by the madness of the whales from the actual abbey itself, it is a haunted place after all, and I guess anyone can be affected by that if exposed for too long. But I thought he could rise above it in some way, I guess.
He seems to think he has. From what I gathered, he really truly thinks he's helping the people of Kresk and the people of Barovia. But he's doing the exact opposite. It's kind of sad.
Well, there have been people that I've seen be helped, and your members of the party have seen it. I mean, all of you have helped us more directly. Dimitri believes that he can be helpful, and I won't lie, when Dimitri went to visit the abbot to ask to use the favor of having our son be resurrected, and when Dimitri was blind, when he was blinded, I don't know. The reason I was going to Valaki was in order to get help to remove the abbot, because I feel as if what you say is, I feel as if, yes, maybe he believes something that he's helping, but I think that he is more of a danger to our people. But I don't think that there's anything we can really do about it. I don't know if we can pull someone out there. I don't know if our people are strong enough to be able to do such a thing.
Honestly, I don't know either. But I guess we have to decide if it's better to just leave him there on his own to do whatever he's going to do, or if something needs to be done.
Anna kind of sits back at this kind of thing to think about it. It is always difficult to know when to show restraint and when to show any force. My husband's always struggled with that. He's a good man, but he's a troubled man. Emil, at this moment, kind of speaks and says, I've known for a long time that if you show restraint in any fashion, it can allow somebody to let your guard go down. And if your guard goes down at some point, you're vulnerable from someone else's transgressions. You can take my word as best you want, but you said to me before that if where my stance is, that if I'm against the abbot in this way, then I'm an ally to you. Then let me tell you this. If you want something to be done about this, then you would do something about it. Sitting around isn't going to solve anything. In fact, it's just going to get you and other people hurt.
I can agree with that. But she's not just thinking about us right now. She's thinking about all the people of Kresk and what's best for them. And I can understand that as well.
If you're all
And I
concerned
don't think he's what's best. I don't think he's what's best. But she knows those people better than any of us do.
if you're really worried about your people, it kind of speaks to Anna at this moment. If you're really worried about them, I could help. Anna kind of looks a little surprised, says, if you want your people to be stronger, then I can help with that. I can help all of you with that.
I think that's a good idea. I don't know what the rest of the group thinks, and I don't know what Anna thinks, but I'm not opposed.
Listen, my people are a dying breed. We're losing in this entire valley. We're not at war necessarily with the forces of Strahd and his agents, but he certainly is trying to infiltrate us in certain ways. There's not much of a chance that we hold against the people. And from what you're talking about going to Valaki, if you were not able to find people, well, I don't know what the circumstances are between each towns. I really don't care much about whatever civilizations you're all caring about. But here's the thing. Our people are suffering. My people, those that I have to guide and those I have to lead, are struggling in this land. And we need more people, now more than ever. I don't know if I can trust you all implicitly, but let's just say I, too, lost my position because someone else decided to step into the role. They thought that they could lead by a better example, to be more powerful in extent, or just when you come across any kind of leaders, you find different perspectives, and some perspectives decide to be crueler than others. I may have an element of cruelty to me. I may be I may be wild to a few of you, but I can tell you this. If you let me inside, if you allow me to pull you all into the fold, then we won't be able to just save your people and my people. We'll be able to save everybody.
think that's what we're all looking for.
Sly just silently nods in agreement. And just
Okay.
has like the black smoke billowing out of him. But he's liking
Alright.
what this guy's saying.
Squally turns pink.
Huh. I'm gonna make a quick roll here. Okay. Kari's kind of got a little smile to you all, like kind of like in what Emil's talking about. And we're gonna go from you guys to the front of this wagon here. We got
What I've been waiting for.
we
Love Shack.
got
Baby Love
Ezmerelda.
Shack.
She's not holding the reins or anything. She's cleaning her musket right now, getting a whole like small sack of silver like musket balls, like kind of getting them all prepped up, getting them rolled in, getting the actual black powder kind of cleaned out, just making that all set, getting her weapons sharpened. She's got her feet up on this wagon as it's just like steering itself all the way to Kresk. Wystera, I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna ask you something regarding your process. So presently, Wystera, the one thing I will say is on this moment, you have time to actually begin to write out the contents of your spell book and to actually transfer. The day or this morning when you guys had all set, Kari, when you guys were camped out, Kari had helped you like translate, transcribe, and get some of the elements of the spell book that you had found beforehand. I'm just gonna look and see here. Now, I believe in terms of wizard stuff, I believe that there is a number of spells that you are able to transfer per day. I just want to find.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm just looking for. There we go. Okay, I found the spell book. I just want to look.
Two
and see.
spells, 3 cantrips, apparently.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry.
That's a different thing altogether. So wizards, just so you know, David, because I know that you don't know too much about wizardry. Wizards' spell book is not limited to spells known. They get to have a spell book full of every spell that they discover at a certain point. It's just a matter of they have like spell slots like everybody else, but they have an entire book of spells that they have like it's like their own library basically. And then they get to choose what spells they want to have prepared per day.
Okay, got it.
Now, the spells that you can have prepared, you can have it as a list of up to your intelligence modifier plus your wizard level to a minimum of 1.
Okay.
And in terms of, yeah. And then you can transfer over stuff. So copying a spell into the book, I'm just going to look at this. Remember copying a spell involves abrasive. For each level of the spell, the process takes 2 hours and costs 50 gold pieces. This represents the material components. So I'm going to say the book that you, the book that you would have for this, I'm assuming it's just like a small little tiny notebook that you would just have that you're,
Yes, yeah, it's nothing,
Yeah.
nothing special, this notebook.
It's a tiny little notebook and you're trying to transfer all of the little bits and bobs into this, like trying to get all the somatic components.
It's extremely frustrating for Wystera. Yeah, she's not used to this sort of thing.
Yes,
But
it is
she's
a
doing it.
very frustrating little book here. I will say, in the process of it, I will say that you will have transferred 3 spells probably right now of first level into this book. You can choose which of these spells would you like to have transferred: Disguise Self, Identify, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Protection from Good and Evil.
Magic Missile,
Yeah.
Protection from Good and Evil.
Okay.
And can you repeat the other 4?
Disguise Self, Identify, and Mage Armor.
I don't know Identify.
Identify is a divination spell. It's a spell that allows you to cast it on an item, and you will be able to learn features and properties of those particular items. It is a spell. Yeah. Let me just see here. Identify. Yeah. So it takes 1 minute. It requires a pearl worth at least 100 gold pieces. It's not consumed, but you require like some kind of like little material component with that. You choose an object that you must touch. If it's a magical item or some other magic imbued object, you learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement to use and how many charges it has. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created with a spell, you learn how it was created. You can also touch a creature and learn what spells, if any, are currently affecting that creature.
Huh. Yeah, I'm liking that. I was thinking about mage armor, but that's the one that's 13 plus dex, right?
Yes.
So that's not a big help to me because that only raises my armor class by 1. I mean, that can be a big help, but I'm thinking identify. That's let me pull it up here, read that again. That sounds kind of helpful
Sure.
in
I will
Barovia.
let
So
you know.
let's go with that.
Sure, I'll say those are the 3 that you've been able to transfer over right now. On the road, on this drive, you're able to get an additional one for yourself here too. Yeah, you'd be able to get either disguise self or mage armor in the time it takes you guys to get to Kresk. But yeah, again, in this tiny book, which essentially it takes you like 3 pages of this book to get all of the different things for one of these spells.
Yeah.
And you are
Coming
definitely
up
running
late.
low on actual ink for yourself.
Yeah.
Ezmerelda notices you doing this, kind of sees what you're doing, and's like, you know, there's a much better way of being able to actually take care of that.
Oh, please tell me what it is.
Well, I don't know exactly what you are intending to do with all of those. What doodlings you have?
Well, without going into boring detail, I have at the moment lost my powers, and I am attempting to find a way to be useful here besides shooting random bolts out of my crossbow. So I am attempting to learn some wizard spells.
You mean something like these? And she pulls out a book that is like beautiful out from underneath her jacket, and you can just
Wystera
see
jaw drops.
she passes it over to you. As you look in it, it is a book full of different beautifully constructed like somatic components. There's all of these different elements, material components, well organized, well listed, well structured. She's got an entire array of this, and she says, my dear, boring details is a little bit of my own specialty. And she takes the book away from you, closes it, and puts it right back in her jacket.
She took the book she just showed me away from
Yeah,
her?
she took it right back, and she just takes it right there.
All right. Wystera slides over and puts her finger on the side of Ezmerelda's head and kind of strokes her hair and says, well, what is it I have to do to get use of this little book? Exactly.
I can tell you this, if you're going to be trying to get a hands on this book, you're going to have to take it off of my cold, dead hands.
Well, I certainly don't want that, continuing to stroke her hair. Is there a way that I may borrow it during our drive? And I will certainly not attempt to steal it from you, good heavens.
Well, in the time it takes us to be able to get there, I can potentially let you look over it, but we're going to be there quite quite quickly. If you want to be able to look over this and find yourself if a little spell to be able to do in the next few hours, I don't mind you looking over.
I would appreciate that.
Honestly, though, if you're looking to be more effective as passing of wizardry spells, I recommend you getting some experience, maybe going to some libraries, maybe even turning some of those charms on somebody else who's a little bit, what can I say, a little less, let's just say somebody who's got to be worrying about a few other things other than their advancement in magic.
Ugh. Libraries, so boring.
Well, when you say you lost your powers, I'm assuming that this is a expression that you are not someone who's normally having to expand yourself into a complete different art form.
That is correct.
Well,
I am used to being able to do serious damage to those who piss me off, and I currently cannot. It is
I see.
upsetting.
Well, I can just say patronage does come with some of its privileges, but it certainly also comes with some of its smaller, let's just say, is it side effects? No, it's more like responsibilities.
That is correct. Speaking of which, I have here, I assume you know what Darkfell energy is. I assume you know that?
Darkfell energy.
And I show her my my necklace.
Sure.
I am
If you want to describe it for her, she can roll with advantage on this.
okay. Thank you. I will.
Okay. I'm assuming you're talking about shadow magic, or are you talking about something else entirely?
Well, shadow magic is part of it for sure. There is much Shadowfell in these parts, for instance, but here in my necklace, you see, part of my, I have not told this to anyone in the back, but part of my quest and the reason for leaving my life behind to go on this journey is to find, well, to find my patron. And this patron is in fact a sword. It is a sword that only women may yield. I don't know if you have heard of this, but whenever, if perhaps I am told, if I get close, this necklace, this Shadowfell energy, will begin to glow, and it has glowed several times while I've been here in Barovia, but not lately. And I do not know if this has something to do with the fact that I have lost my patronage powers, but don't know if you have heard of such a sword or are familiar with this.
I can't say that I am, but what is interesting to me is the fact that you're talking about this. Shadowfell energy being inside of a patronage. I'm assuming that whatever patron you carry is one that is tied deeply in with the Shadowfell. Because the thing is when I'm talking about shadow magic, I'm not talking about just there are many shadow casters and there are many shadow sorcerers, but you're talking as someone who has made a direct link to an actual Shadowfell being or some kind of entity, and a sword altogether.
Yes, the Shadowfell is in fact a plane of existence, and
I know that you don't have to. Okay, look, hey, you might think libraries are boring. I myself was able to be quite studious. Okay.
I see. I see.
And she just kind of like hits you a little bit on your nose, a little bit, just kind of like,
Oh, well, you may do that again sometime. Go ahead.
what I'm trying to say is that you're tied to a sword from the shadow, so that means that you're a Hexblood patron or Hexblade?
Correct.
Well, if that's the case, if your powers left you, then that means you probably did something to anger your patron in some way, to cause them to abandon you outright. And in a land that does seem to have a lot of Shadowfell presence, that would mean that you would have done something that it was very observant of, very strongly present for, and in some way you pissed it off.
Huh. I see, of course. I have been distracted. I should have thought of that. I call in my my little friend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And she just goes to immediately get a crossbow out. Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
No, that's this.
Keep
This is
forgetting she's fucking there.
yeah,
Jesus.
this is, I introduced the two.
Hi. Hi. I'm just telling you right now, you can hit my nose any day. I'm in that boat too. I like a good nose touch. And if you want to stab a hot bolt right through, if you want to stab like a hot rod right in there, baby, you can do whatever you want with me. Okay, I see what this is. Immediately
I flick her nose.
Hey, I was hey, look, if you both want to do it at the same time. Anyway, what's up?
Ezmerelda has just been a great deal of help.
I was just hearing. I was overhearing that. That sounds like very interesting.
Perhaps you are right. It has nothing to do with Grixie. Perhaps.
I knew it! Yes. She flies up. Flies right there.
Flick her nose again.
Perhaps. Oh, okay, please. You both got to do it. Please. Okay, come on. I need you both. No, stop. I need both of you to be a part of this.
Hey, focus. Focus.
I'm sorry. Okay. Just really excited.
Perhaps what has happened is me not searching for my patron, not searching for the Hexblade is what has pissed it off. Not searching for it as actively as I should has pissed it off, and this is why my powers have been taken away. What do you think?
Oh, wow. I mean, if you're not searching for it, you've been distracted with all this other bullshit. That makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. So
I take off my my pendant and I put it around my little friend. What happens? Is they able to hold it?
Yeah. Twitch has it wrapped around her neck.
Okay. Twitch, how would you feel about flying throughout these lands and seeing if it glows at any point in this land?
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I can probably do something like that. I mean, I have no idea how long it's gonna take me to get around here, but I can do that.
Me neither. Just play, go whatever you like, and see if remember where it glows.
All right, that sounds great. I'll do that. Twitch immediately comes up, turns invisible, and flies off.
Well, besides a warrior, you are not just another pretty face.
And I can see that aside from being a very well-dressed individual, that you're not you're no stranger to giving out some orders. Interesting.
I open the book and start pouring through it. Am I able to learn anything that would help me?
There's a whole bunch of spells in here that it would take you way too long to be able to transfer into your book. The one spell you could do as a replacement to another first level, like one that you don't want to add from the one that you have in your own book, there's one spell that is for shield.
If I was to ask my, do you want me to look it up, or if I were to ask my DM which would be more appropriate, shield or mage armor?
Well, shield is a reaction spell. It's a reaction. It's something you cast as a reaction. it increases your AC to with a +5 bonus until the beginning of your next turn. It essentially is something that you can use as a reaction if something hits you. Yeah, it's that's kind of the nature of it. You cast it, you have a +5 to your AC, and it stays that way until it gets back to your turn for a round.
That sounds a heck of a lot more interesting than mage armor to me.
Okay,
I'll take it.
sure. Here's a question. What is your intelligence bonus?
-1.
Okay. That means that for yourself, you will be able to have 1 spell prepared from your spell book out of the 4 that you have. So you will have to choose which of those 4 you will want to have prepared for the day.
Fair enough.
As you all begin to approach the space, you all begin to get closer to the actual walls of Kresk. Now, here's what happens. You guys begin to go up the winding road, going up the hill. Ezmerelda does stop for a moment, Wystera. She says, "My dear, I've had a very wonderful time talking to you, but you're going to have to go into the back of the wagon for a moment. I'm going to have Miss Anna come up to the front."
Understood. I go back. I motion to Anna to head up front.
Goes through.
And I
she
brush her shoulder as I go by.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Haven't done persuasion in so long. 18.
18. Okay. Ezmerelda, she looks at you and she says, "I have a question. What is your preferred style of jewelry? I know you just got rid of a necklace, but is there any other kind of jewelry you really like?"
Bright and red or purple.
Color is nice, but I'm talking about the kind and style. What do you like?
Rings.
Rings. Do you prefer them on the fingers or on the toes?
Oh, on the fingers.
Interesting. All right. Well, if you just go into one of the drawers there, I'm sure you're going to find something rather interesting.
Ooh. I head into the drawers. What do I find?
Okay, you go in, and first of all, one of the things you notice is a small, like a book that's set to the side. She actually, Ezmerelda, at the moment, she comes out and gives you a plain black book, but it's 3 times larger than the little handheld you got. So it's like actually functionally sturdy.
Beautiful. I hand back her book.
She's like, "No, thank you." Pass that back in. She opens up a small space for you before she starts taking off. Inside, there are, I'm just going to do a check. It would be, yeah, there are 8, basically a large inkwell that would be the equivalent of you being able to transfer 8 spells into your spell book without having to pay the cost.
Oh, thank you.
Now, she goes up to drive. You go into the wagon. You open up the drawer she indicates to you. You see that there is a small silver ring that has a wrapped around red, kind of like almost like red blown glass, it almost seems, kind of like looped around the entirety of the ring. You set it on your fingers. And then as you guys begin to approach, I will just let you know, it faintly glows as if like, it almost billows as if smoke comes through. So the transparentness of the red becomes like a full opaque, solid kind of like salmony, kind of orangey red kind of texture there.
Huh.
This ring grants you a +1 bonus to your wizard spells. So you have a +1 bonus to your attack rolls with it, and your spell save DC goes up by 1 as well.
Say that all again, please. I'm writing as fast as I can.
This is an attunement ring that allows you to increase the spell save DC and the attack bonus for your wizard spells.
Thank you.
Because wizard spells do not use the same DC that your warlock spells do.
Yes, correct. Yep.
Yes. So you have that. All right. You're all in the wagon.
I jump up and hug her and say, I love it. Thank you.
You're about to go out of this moving wagon to jump out of it. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check.
Oh, I thought she was still there.
Nope, she's moving in the wagon.
Okay, acrobatics is 14.
Sure, you stumble off to the side. You just like slowly go on the outside of the wagon, begin to make your way over. You come over and just kind of like one arm, give her a hug and around the thing. And she's just trying to relax a little bit. Just like, and it looks like as you approach the gates of Kresk, the guards are like, Anna's just like a little startled. It's like, hold right there, hold. And they begin to kind of like get like set, spears kind of set down at the Vistani caravan. It's like, I think, my dear, you have to let go of me right now.
Please, I do.
Okay. Sure, you get back right in the wagon. Anna says, it's all right. She's granted me safe passage. She's allowed inside. Is that Lady Kreskovia? We're not allowed to allow Vistani. Please let us in. She's escorted me. It's fine. They open up the gates. They come through. Anna comes through and she sees the state kind of the actual village, and she's like, "What happened? What has happened here, my lady? The mongrels from the mad people from the abbey. They all tore through the entire village." She's like, "What? How did this happen? Where's Dimitri right now?" No one has seen Dimitri all throughout this, madam. Nobody knows where the burgomaster is. What? And she rushes over to her home. Ezmerelda kind of pulls up. She gets the spectral horses. He moves the wagon, and they're all kind of like startled by these like ghost horses coming up. And then she says a word, dismisses them. She comes down and she says, well, actually, before this happens, there's something I need to go back on just because of myself. When Ezmerelda is coming up onto the actual village, when she comes out to the back area, she opens up the wagon itself in the back. And actually, I'm going to keep it going from the space. The guards are about to close the gate. And Ezmerelda goes, hold on. Wait 1 minute, please. 1 minute. She opens up the wagon and she looks at Emil and says, all right, get out. And the mill is like, all right, gets out of the wagon. She says, no. Get out through that gate. Someone else needs to pass through. Just hold on. And she looks hard at Emil, unwavering, waiting for him to leave.
Why?
Ezmerelda immediately says, we can't be having any of his kind to be inside of here. This is a dangerous thing for him to be here. He needs to leave.
I'll take that for what it is, and I'll just look at Emil and see what he says.
Emil kind of just says, if you want every single person in this village to die, to be weak, then wonderful. I'll take off. I'll go. And she says, all right. Yeah, you need to get the fuck out of here right now. You need to leave. She actually almost begins to go for her musket to kind of like be a full escort to get him out past the gate. This moment, Emil looks at you guys at this moment while Ezmerelda kind of has her back turned to them and kind of looks at all of you with like a hard scowl.
Is he still in the wagon?
No, he's outside of the wagon.
Oh, he's outside the wagon. Oh, I thought he was still in it. Fuck.
No, he walked out of it and is about to be escorted out.
Oh,
by his-
I didn't know that. I was gonna, before he got out, I was gonna try and hold him back to keep him with us. Slide's like a Slide looks at the group and was we need to keep as much strength with us as we can. And just looks at the group and looks back at
I agree.
Wystera walks over to Ezmerelda and kind of facing the other. Ezmerelda's facing this way, Wystera faces the other way, and just whispers, "He could come in useful for fodder."
She looks immediately at you and she says, "That's not his intention. You know very well what that is, and I'm not going to even tolerate such an idea as if you want to do that. So let me explain to all of you. It seems very interesting to me that all of you have been through a lot, and I understand that. I can see it off you." And she looks at Sly with all the scars on you. She says, "What he's proposing is not what you think it is. You're talking about an individual." She looks at you, Wystera. "He's talking about an entire collective. He's talking about every single person here. Do you know what he is? Really? Do you really know what he is?"
Evil.
You can talk in like nuanced terms all you want, but I'm looking for an actual thing. Do you all know what he is?
Well, he's on our side.
Oh my fucking god, he's a werewolf!
And he's on our side.
Until what? He's on our side until what?
I'm sorry, but you could say that about anybody. Until what? How long are you on our side?
Okay. See, now you're going to a different situation here. You think I'm talking with a nuanced concept of until someone's motivation changes or until a goal changes. He's on your side until the moon fucking changes into a giant fucking white sphere, and then immediately he turns around and kills every single one of you. Or worse, turns you into one of himself. And when he's talking about making this entire place strong, that's exactly what he's intending to do.
I'm just going to look at Emil when she says that and just see how he's kind of taking that in.
Sure, you can make an insight check if you want.
And just to point out,
can Slide roll for insight as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Wystera's what?
Wystera whispered until he turns to her before she said
Nat 20.
Nat 20. Okay, I just want to know too, Squally, where do you think Squally is in this moment here?
Yeah, I was just about to say Squally is heading over to Eren, but Squally actually is he's turned a little green. Squally really doesn't want to mill around.
Mm-hmm.
But Squally also doesn't want to sort of go against the will of the collective. So Squally's kind of shrinking in behind Eren, but kind of hoping that Ezmerelda gets her way here.
What's
Okay.
Kari thinking?
Kari right now, and what did you roll for insight there, Sly?
I rolled a 10.
Okay. Kari is with you guys, but Kari is also kind of in that middle ground, kind of seeing these things. She's very much young, wants that strength applied. On a 10, I think that it's pretty clear that Kari is favoring allies and favoring strength, but the knowledge of having a werewolf in this kind of moment is a little bit of a turn for her, like kind of that moment of stepping through. But it's different. It's not her. You can't really read what her reservations are, but there's something there.
Oh, okay. I was also
Emil,
yeah. I was. Does the 10 affect? Do I get anything on Emil?
Emil, it seems like he's taking it. It seems like he's taking this kind of stuff and is not hiding in any way. He doesn't shrink. He doesn't hide. Doesn't do anything. Eren, you clock that Emil isn't fazed by this. There's nothing that he's trying to hide. In fact, it seems as if he's like, the tone of his body is like, yeah, and like it's almost as if this is an individual that you're reading from it, that he is totally fine with being exposed on every kind of aspect of this, like, you know, the stance of an individual, and it's like, yeah, it's exactly what I'm proposing in this. It's exactly what I'm trying to say. And it's actually what he openly talks about. He immediately, once Ezmerelda finishes, he says, "You're done?" Because all the time you're talking about this, it could be actually put to something meaningful. I mean, look at every single one of you. You're all scared of a single individual at the top of some giant abbey because potentially he can do something harmful to you, because other people could potentially do something harmful to you. Let me tell you something. I go in there, I'm not scared of anything, because I know that there's very few things that can actually do any meaningful harm to me. Like some bitch with a fucking musket. Now let me explain this as well. If you guys have to go through your life being afraid of every single thing you go through, or one lucky person, one lucky hunter here and there, you tell me, what is there to be afraid of, really? If 1% of your life is lived in some modicum of fear, and actually, I'll say that you wouldn't have to live in fear at all, because one person like me up against a person like her, yes, maybe that's something to be worried about. Unless there's 7 or 10, 20, 50, 100 of us, and then we don't have to worry about anybody. And when the moon rises, none of us have to worry about that, because we're all in the same boat with it. We all change. We all feel that strength. And we can't hurt each other. Eren, I'll say with a natural 20, you looking immediately over to Ezmerelda as well. In this moment, Ezmerelda is going through a process in her mind where she's just kind of putting off uncomfortably. You can see that she's moving. You look and notice her leg, the prosthetic leg that she's got. And she says, I know that not having control over what you can do to other people, that's not strength. That's you sacrificing yourself to something else, thinking it's greater than yourself, because you thought some time ago that you weren't enough. And we can always be enough. Yes, sometimes you need things that can help you in more ways than one, because unfortunately, to fight the monsters, we have to force ourselves to seek things that we wish we didn't have to, and we have to prove ourselves that we're not enough all the time. That's strength. When you tell yourself that you're not enough and you need people, you can stand by it. On that, we're in agreement, but I am not in agreement with how you are expressing it right now. Your methods are bestial. Your methods bring madness, violence, and destruction to populace. And I don't ever want to see your face again. Do you understand me? Emil looks and says, and I would be glad to never see yours either. But you don't speak for everybody here. And you don't speak for these people at all.
Quick question, DM. Is this
Yeah.
werewolf logic like it is just strictly full moon, or is it like every night he'll freak out, or it's like one of those things where it's like just so happens that in like every werewolf movie where it just so happens that every night is a full moon?
I want you to go ahead and roll a... You can choose. You can choose a nature check. You can choose an arcana check. I'd even say you can choose a religion check.
I'm not good at any of those.
Brilliant question.
Yeah, who knows in this place?
It's
eh?
a 16 nature check.
In nature. Sly, you are aware of lycanthropy. You know about this, and it is believed to be a curse amongst many. But lycanthropy is one of those real interesting curses, because a creature that is under lycanthropy is able to take on a really, for you as a beast yourself, like it is a powerful level of a beast, like unlocking of the bestial power. But there is a modicum of truth to what Ezmerelda is talking about. With a beast, like you're able to control it as much as you can. Like a creature is able to be shapeshift, they're able to do it. They are shapeshifters. That's kind of the biggest thing that they get. They have the natural strength of certain animals. They can transform into animals that their curse gives them over to. But there is an element where on days with nights with a full moon, when a full moon comes into the sky, you must, like the beast that you are, awakens, and it's a moment where the consciousness of the creature, it doesn't seem like where the beast is and where the person is, like you don't know, because it is all bestial. And that's the nature of it. But you also know that many lycanthropes, they are quite formidable to many people.
Okay, so it's not every night he turns into a monster though. Like he turns into that, like it's just like full moons. He's at his most powerful. He transforms into like that werewolf type thing.
Full moon is when the beast comes out. Full moon is when it's like a weird channel of the cosmic forces where curse, like where it becomes too strong for the mortal to sustainably control it.
Okay. Do we know when the
So
next...
he can. So it's like he can become a wolf when he wants to, but like full moon, he has no control. He just goes wolf.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, when we were in the castle, we've seen him kind of transform. Yeah, so we've seen him transform with his ability, but we've never seen him go
Like, out of control.
Yeah. Do we know when the next full moon is?
I'm gonna say you can choose a survival check or a nature check here, and you can make it with advantage if someone wants to help you.
I will help. I go. I don't know if it's helping. Trying.
That's an 11. 11 survival.
Okay. I'm gonna say you yourself are not necessarily an astronomer. You don't necessarily pay attention to much of like the actual cycles of the moon. It's like you'll notice it when you notice it. Presently the moon is looking at its half point right now. It looks like it's at a half point of some sorts.
But we don't know which way it's going.
Exactly. You're like, again, on an 11, it's like it's on the half point. It's like, is it waxing, waning kind of thing? You're not 100% certain, but it's like in that moment.
I want you to help, but I don't think forcing another curse on these people to get rid of one is the right idea.
Sly's gonna walk over to Ezmerelda. I don't agree with the way he wants to go about getting rid of this curse, but we need his strength with him. And if he attempts to infect anyone else or he gets out of control, I will help you put him down. But he can hinder us. He can help and he can hinder us.
Go ahead and make, I'm going to say an intimidation check.
Intimidation on her?
Not on her, but you're using intimidation on this expression. You can, I mean, if you want to make persuasion, you can, but like, I'm feeling intimidation on this personally.
That's a 15.
15. With the sincerity of the expression, she says, you watch him and you keep him close. I'm staying as far away from that as possible.
I'm going to pull out my dagger because I have it plated in silver. And I'm just going to show it to her and say, would this do the job?
It's one of the only things that will. And with that, you guys hear a scream, and we're going to take our break right there.
Random question. If he goes full beast mode, would animal handling be any way? Would that come in handy at all? Like, is he just like a mindless creature at that point? Like, there's no logic or reason?
You're going to have to find out.
Boy.
I'm going to have to find
Good
out.
boy.
Yeah, you're going to have to find out. Alrighty, we're going to take a little
We're
break.
gonna fuck around and find out is what we're gonna do.
Alrighty. So here we go. Welcome back. When we last left, you guys were all just having a conversation with Emil and Ezmerelda about what was going on between Emil's station to be able to stay here. And immediately you guys heard a scream cut across from the village of Kresk. A scream might not be the exact word. It is more of a cry that comes out. Anyone who wants to can make a perception check to know where that's coming from.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yup. Wystera quickly turns to Ezmerelda and says, "Since we are keeping him, do you have any silver crossbow bolts that I may have?"
She's gonna go right into the back wagon quickly. 10. Okay.
10.
Sly rolled a 16.
Okay. Sly, you're gonna be able to respond to this a lot faster than Eren here. So you're able to immediately identify it. It's basically northwest of you. It's not too far from the center of town, so you begin to make your way over.
Yeah, Sly's hustling over.
Wystera, she goes into the back area. She gives you 5 crossbow bolts that she has. Yours are for a hand crossbow, though, correct?
Correct.
She actually passes off the light crossbow to you, and she says, "I think this is going to help you a little bit better." She passes that off to you.
Excellent. I'll put the hand crossbow into the replace it into the back of the.
Sounds good. Has some
Yep.
exchange. She does that. Perfect. All right. Sly, you begin to rush off to that sound. Eren, you're right behind him. Everybody else following it behind. Sly, immediately. No, you're rushing off immediately to check out what the sound is. Okay. You begin to run, and as you begin to go cutting through the village, there's a couple of people like trying to see what's going on. You turn a corner as you see a few villagers kind of cluster around. Some of them have wrapped casts. Few of them are not casts, but like slings for their arms. A few of them have just like kind of weary, worn out, because it's in the middle, basically in the middle of the night. You guys rush over and you can see that there's a faint light with the curtains drawn on one building, and you can see that it is the burgomaster's home, and you can see Anna is on kind of the entryway of the door with her. There's like light coming out from the actual doorway, but she's standing there frozen, looking inside.
So I was gonna do like a quick like danger check to see if there's any like visible threats right from go.
Okay, quick check. What's your passive perception?
10.
Passively, you don't see anything.
Okay. I think I'll just do a regular perception check then.
Okay, it's going to
To see
slow you
what's-
down to be able to take in the whole space then. Go ahead and make that perception check.
Okay. Fuck. 2.
You are trying to just move and look quickly, but in that process, you start to even lose people within the actual crowd that is around. So it's like it's not effective for you to be able to search and move at the same time. But you are making your way closer to the actual state. You don't notice anything.
Okay.
All right.
We just see her staring at it.
Staring at it, light coming from her. As Sly, you're getting closer, you do notice that there is a lantern that is fallen down and cracked in the entryway of the door. It's kind of like on the inside.
How
Okay.
far away from her are we?
You'd be about 10 feet. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna go up to her and ask, "Are you okay? What's going on?"
You go,
Wystera
and
is
her
the-
face is just tears falling out of her eyes, and she has her mouth covered right now. But she's keeping her back right now to everybody else. You can see that the lantern is just kind of flickering, and oil is beginning to spill out just a little bit onto the from the broken lantern.
I'm just focused on her. I'm like, is there anything you can tell us? Is there anything we can do?
You don't get a response. Sly, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna start heading in,
Okay.
heading towards the main doorway.
Sure. You step over the lantern in this moment, just stepping in. You walk past the main stairway, going into the kind of the living room space. And immediately here, you see what Anna was taking in, like kind of a small portion of, but with your dark vision, you can see it easily. You can see across the way from the living quarters, there is like a scattering of things around you. The place looks a mess. It doesn't look it doesn't look well organized right now. It looks like everything is like scattered books, just dishes. The table is like askew. Cushions for chairs are moved over. You can see that across the way there's like a little dining space, and it's just like chairs are kind of like knocked over. One chair in particular, however, is knocked over, and above it, you can see that there is a set of shoes, like kind of like soft, comfortable slippers that are coupled together. They're paired. They are put on the foot, the black-skinned feet, that as you look up, you start to see the entire body of a man that is like kind of like upright above the chair. And you can see as you get closer, once you pass the archway kind of in this space, you can see a rope wrapped around his neck as he is hanging from the ceiling of the kitchen area, unmoving.
Do I recognize this man at all?
As soon as you get closer, and you can see in his eyes the glazed over, almost like completely white eyes, you do recognize this is Dmitry Kreskov, the burgomaster of Kresk.
I'm gonna cut him down. Like find where he tied himself.
Wystera runs in and helps.
First, is this suicide or lynching? Can I tell?
Go ahead and make an investigation check. Wystera, as you begin to go in, you notice that the lantern spilled over, the oil begins to catch fire, just like lightly on what has spilled over.
I was waiting to say I want to tilt that thing up so that doesn't happen. Damn it.
Sure. I mean, you tilt it, but it catches fire just like in a small little pool. So like a little fire is beginning to build up there.
All right. I'll attempt to stomp it out.
Sounds good. Yeah, you just start to work on trying to cover, smut out the fire. Sly, you cut him down. What'd you roll?
Yeah, I rolled an 8.
The looking around the scene, unfortunately, you don't fully have a scope of what has happened here. You don't know. I mean, it looks like some kind of like struggle kind of ensued here. It looks like this person was put up in this position here. You do notice that there is a letter on the table, but it's scrawled. It's terribly written. You can't make out the handwriting. It does, like the whole scene looks suspicious to you, but it also like doesn't give you any certainty of one or the other choice.
I see. Are there any other wounds on the body?
Make a medicine
Like-
check.
$18.
18. There seems to be a couple of cut marks on the fingers. Couple of bruises on the body, but like faint, like on knees, and there's a couple things like maybe just on the elbows.
But nothing else that would be seen as fatal. Like the only thing
No,
that
not at all.
what killed
Nothing.
this guy was the strangling, the hanging.
Yes. You can see
Yeah.
his eyes are still in this almost like permanent blindness. And what the noose around the neck, the person's vertebrae is broken, like their neck is snapped, and there is bruising on the neck. It seems that they've been here probably for a few hours.
Seeing this and seeing that Sly is handling that, I'm gonna go back out and try to get his wife. Can't remember her name now.
Anna.
Try to get her, yeah,
Anna.
Anna. Try to get her kind of out and to a different place, like just away from this whole scene.
Yeah, you move her. She slowly moves with you, almost like in this weird methodical.
Yeah, I just go at her pace.
Everyone in Kresk is looking to her, looking to see what's going on. They can't really see. They just see Wystera putting out the lantern.
Squally runs in and as the body's being pulled down, takes a look at the neck for bites.
Sure. Make a medicine check.
I have special dice for Squally. I will do that. Oh, hell yeah. First roll with the new dice, and we have a 25.
Great. On 25, there is no bite marks anywhere upon his body, nowhere near the neck. Yeah, you just see, I would say even on this, you are able to discern, yeah, essentially that the individual here just, yeah, made this clumsy attempt to or whatever it was to be hung, and that is what happened. Like it was a messy just process to be able to get to this point, and that is what has occurred to them.
And so can Squally tell from looking and listening whether suicide or forced?
You're gonna have to make an investigation check to see what happened to Dimitri.
Okay. Nine.
Same circumstance with Sly.
Okay.
It's a messy scene. You don't know really what happened here.
Any self-defense wounds on the hands?
You see cuts on the fingers, on the like little cuts and nicks on the fingers. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Eren, you move Anna to a kind of a space not too far from the house, but a little just a few houses down where there's a few less people watching, just in the dark. And she is shaking. You can feel on your hand as you walk down like tears kind of falling down, hitting your fingers. She kind of
I'm just
stops
gonna get her
moving.
somewhere.
Mhm.
Okay, I was gonna try. I want to get her somewhere where she can just like sit down and just.
She is getting closer to the spot, and she stops, and she just like goes to the ground. She collapses on her hands and knees.
That's okay. I'll just wait for her and just stay there, and I'll just like keep my hands kind of like on her arms, just so she knows I'm there.
You just hear her wail, giving a wailful sob, just like trying desperately to compose herself, but a torrent of emotion is like being held and restrained at the same time.
Yeah. I just say, let's just, if you can, let's just get somewhere away from everything. If not, I'll stay right here with you.
She feels your presence with her, feels you hold on to her. She stays here for a good few minutes. A moment comes where she slowly, like, you feel her give you almost her full weight to be able to move and sit down on just like the end of a porch, basically, for somebody else's house.
That's fine. I'm just gonna sit beside her,
Sure.
just kind of like lean against her a little bit.
Yeah. I'll say as you're sitting, you do notice like a few eyes, like the strange stares of blue-faced people from the windows, or you can just see the lights of their eyes from distant like firelight, just from like torches and lanterns. They just clock those in the dark frames of windows. Anna doesn't say much. She just cries. She does try to say something, and every time she does, even just the thought of being able to say Dimitri, she is hit again with something.
Just it's okay. Just take as much time as you need. I'll stay right here with you.
I shouldn't have left. And she just like breaks down at that exclamation.
I'll just keep I'll just stay with her and wait for the rest of my group.
Okay. Ezmerelda is right now kind of like seeing as everyone else backs out. She's like, okay, everyone, okay. Show's over. Back away, everyone. Ezmerelda comes to check in on you, Eren and Anna. She doesn't say anything. She just sees this. She's seen the sight and comes back to everyone else. Yeah, she doesn't really say much.
Do you know who could have done this?
Are you asking that of Ezmerelda?
Yeah, if she's here, yeah.
Yeah. She looks at you with kind of just a look. And she kind of like doesn't say anything else. What do you guys do with everything? Is there anything that you guys move to afterwards?
I'm just waiting for Anna until she's ready to go with everybody. But I'm not gonna just leave her.
Assuming that I've put out the oil fire with sand and such. I would just get up and how big is this house?
The house is about 2 stories.
Yeah,
Or 2 floors.
That's
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
think
Not too sorry.
I think I'd look over at Kari just to make sure he knows, and then I'd run in and quickly search the house.
Sure, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Just to be sure. Investigation is, whoops, wrong way. 16 plus 2, 18.
You look at the main site, where Dimitri is and where kind of the main living room space, the kitchen area. You also go up to the upper floors to his bedroom. The bedroom is equally as messy. And this is what kind of gets you. You start to notice that there's like bits on the floor that are also kind of like knocked down. Like there's a part of like, because the floor has those like those posts in between the actual like stairs. One of them's knocked out. And you're looking up in the bedroom and it looks messy as well. There's a whole bunch of things there. You also see that there's like a picture of a young, like a family, basically, almost like an etched painted drawing or like sketch of a family, and by the bed. You start to piece together, Wystera, that you're looking at a home with an individual who was not able to take care of themselves in the last couple of days, where they tried their best to manage and things were difficult due to not having sight. They were trying probably stubbornly to move around the house and tripping up. And going back and thinking about Dimitri, you remember he was not someone who had a lot. He was struggling just emotionally, you could see a little bit. But someone who was, it looked as if there was somebody who was in search of something. You can see that there was a, at a fireplace, there's a poker I tried to grab. You see also the knives and the fingertips, like the cuts. Those seem to have just been from someone who was trying to prep a meal for themselves and cutting their fingers just like slightly on a knife. And you see the fire poker was trying to be like something to defend themselves with, and it got hooked and caught in a piece of furniture. And it gets to the point where you start looking at this and you start to see that a person who was taken of their sight, who didn't know what was going on, who was left alone, and who had an entire thing of chaos around them, and who very much was responsible for the well-being of this community, hearing screams and cackling and madness and fire burning around them, probably put two and two together and thought that the world around them was on fire because of their mistakes. And that is what gets you to believe that Dimitri killed himself.
Thank you. I'll run back downstairs and whisper this to Kari.
Okay. Kari takes it and she says, "Oh, okay. I'm gonna be right back." And she goes over to, she's gonna go check and see on Irina. Eren, I'm gonna let you know, Anna is not really going to be moving from this space for a little while. She's not really in a position where she can functionally like move. Like it's one of those moments where physically, like there's no comfort, but her body is just in that place to be as comforted in this spot as possible.
That's okay. If she stays here all night and she just sleeps on this porch, like I'll stay with her.
Okay. Everybody else?
I head over and stand with Ezmerelda.
Okay. Ezmerelda is making her way over to you, Sly. She immediately looks to you and says, so what you just told me before, where is he right now? What's the one fucking thing I said to you before?
I don't care who you are. I'm not your errand boy.
No.
He hasn't harmed anyone right
don't,
now.
No. Explain to me. Don't try to throw around this. I said to you, you watch him. You stay close. Where is he right now? Exactly. And she walks outside.
Yes, I doesn't want to fucking put up with that shit. So
She
Yeah,
goes
looks
to
on
you,
my shit.
Wystera. As soon as she goes up to you, Wystera, she says, you know how to handle a sword?
Yes.
It looks like you're going to be somebody who has to be responsible for this as well. She pulls out a sword from her side. It's a short sword. She hands it over to you.
I take it.
She's giving you a silvered short sword right now.
Fantastic.
It's like she got like 3 weapons like kind of like off her side. She gives you a silvered short sword, gives you a scabbard for it. Unless you allow yourself to cinch that in. Yeah. Yeah. So for all of you, if there's nothing you guys really kind of like do or motivate to kind of move here, I will say that you guys are able to effectively if you want to give Dimitri kind of like a quick burial to either or wrap him up just to have him put away in a space to secretly just find a coffin.
I think
Or
Squally
somewhere in
helps
space.
with that for sure.
For sure.
I think Wystera doesn't give a shit, and she's actually looking around for Emil. Does she see anything while this is going on?
Emil's not far away. He's not too far away from everybody else. He's seeing this, but he's watching from a distance.
Okay. Does it seem like Ezmerelda has clocked where he is?
Oh yeah, she knows where he is. She didn't take her eyes off of him. Is the
Right.
thing.
Yeah, that's what
And
I
she
figured.
she forcibly made him move with them, but seeing Sly completely say, well, after like seconds after she said, "Hey, you watch him," and then fucking dart off somewhere else, she's pissed,
Yeah.
and she's not walking away from him at all.
Okay. So I'll keep an eye on Emil while all the irrelevant funeral stuff is going on as far as Vista is concerned.
I'm going to say that Anna does go for a long rest at this point. Like just to, not even just like for the mechanics of it, she's just exhausted. And she just kind of falls asleep on the porch, Eren, just kind of like leaning up against the wall of the house. Waking up sporadically to cry and then going back to sleep.
I just I'll just give her my bedroll, like if she wants it to curl up in, and I'll just sleep right there on the porch.
Okay. I'll say for the sake of all of you, this is kind of a spot for you guys to have a short rest. For Squally, due to the nature of the exhaustion that we had before, Squally will be able to recover from one of the levels of exhaustion that they had from here. So they no longer have the half speed. just because of the extra little thing that was done for that. But yeah, you guys have a short rest at this point. It's extended over the last couple of few hours, but it's the equivalent of a short rest. Unless you want to expend into a long rest for if you are not engaged in making sure the situation is better, you can actually sleep.
What does that do to Squally's 2 levels of exhaustion, a short versus a long?
So typically you need to fall asleep during to expend a full exhaustion. But because of the nature of how that exhaustion came about, Squally, even during a short rest, will be able to have 1 level of exhaustion as opposed to the 2.
Okay, and a long rest would do 2.
Yes, it would. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna step in for Squally. I'm gonna say Squally's not gonna be as distant on with this. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I didn't
Yeah,
think so
yeah.
either. I was just asking
Yeah.
for my own info. So yeah,
For
short.
sure. For
Yep.
sure. Yeah, Squally, yeah, I think Kari in this moment, Kari's working through some processes to go, when she finds Irina, you see that she comes back with some water. And Kari actually does say, "Hey, Squally, can you come with me for a moment, please?
Yes, of course.
I'm gonna use this in some kind of funeral thing, but I need Irina said something about the pool, and I was wondering if you could talk to it, if that makes sense."
Squally goes a little yellow, which I mean, he's been kind of teal because of being tired, but goes a little yellow with joy that Kari's asking him to do this, and absolutely.
You, Squally, and Kari go over to the pool. Irina is not there because at this point Irina is actually going to sleep. She's actually kind of helping out a little bit with this whole process. She's actually going to go check and see with the burgomaster with Anna as well. Squally goes over to the pool. The pool has diminished in its size because it was used quite a bit to put out some of the fires in the actual village. Squally can go ahead and make it's a wisdom plus proficiency check to communicate with this water.
Got it. Thank you.
Or it's not a wisdom. Yeah, it is a wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom plus proficiency bonus.
Yes.
Okay. Nat 20 plus 9.
Jesus Christ. Plus 9?
Well, unless the proficient, again, the way he's written this, I've got plus. Oh, wait a minute. Not saving throw. Sorry, wisdom 3 plus 6. Sorry, 26.
26. Still pretty good.
Yeah. 3 plus 6.
Squally is able to commune within the air, this elemental language beginning to coalesce between the two. What Squally hears back is a masculine voice. Unlike normal, which is screams and cries, this is a tranquil but powerful voice inside of the pool. It's weak and it's faint, but it is sturdy, dependable, honorable, and it says, "Keep her safe. Keep her safe for me. For all of us. Keep her safe. I can't do everything. My spirit is in the pool. My love is in the blade. Keep her safe." And it just kind of echoes that.
I am in the pool. My love is in the blade.
My love is in the blade. Yes.
Huh. Well, Squally, Wally tells this to Kari. And what do you think? The blade?
Kari thinks on that. I think. Wait. Blade. What is there a blade of? What is there? Oh shit. The blade. Isn't there like a blade or something that what was there a blade that we have? Is that part of it? Is that part of this whole thing?
Wally's trying to think back. She's going through his mind about the Vistani. Goes, nothing I can remember from the Vistani. Oh wait. Yes, the right branch. The right branch.
Yes.
The blade. The sun sword. Is that
Yeah,
the
that's
physical
it.
protection?
The hooded figure. Yes. That.
Yes. Hooded dark one, faceless, great power. But was that the sun sword? I don't know. I can't remember, but it was a
I
blade.
mean, what other
We thought it
blade
might
is
be
there?
the sun sword.
What other blade is there that really like ties into something? What is that? Like
I don't know of any other. I think I remember Wystera mentioned something about a blade at some point, but that can't be it.
it can't be it, no.
No,
Talking
this
about-
must be it. But it because wasn't the sun sword was in a bunch of pieces.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, are we supposed to find? Maybe we're supposed to be looking for this sun sword.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. Wait, who the fuck? What? And she just looks at the pool like confused, but also like, okay. Just kind of yeah, she just kind of walks off.
Yeah, Squally follows.
With everything that's going on,
Actually, Squally runs up to Kari and says, keep her safe. Is that Anna, do you think?
why would it be Anna? I don't see why not, but
Who are we
maybe
supposed
we're
to keep?
supposed to.
Irina? Or the bride? Ugh.
No, I don't know. But I mean, if it's Anna, then it's like that makes sense. I mean, their husband. I mean, maybe it's like keeping her safe for the town, for the village. But for all of us,
How many? We've got to keep a lot of hers safe.
all right. You go back to the group. I will say for the sake of this time, you guys all have a moment where Anna just kind of stays at the porch. Eren, she's not really moving. Like she wakes up at a certain point as like a faint dusk kind of comes through. It's not moving much. She's able to speak a little bit, but Ezmerelda comes over to you and comes over to everyone. She looks and says, Anna, I'm going to speak with this one right now. Are you all right? She says, I shouldn't have left him. Miss D'Avenir, I shouldn't. No. Don't worry. This is not your fault. This is nobody else's fault. There's nothing I can say. And there's nothing I want to say. I just want to make sure you're all right. I want you to know we're not going to go far. We'll come right back. She puts a small article in her hands, gives it, and walks over to you, Eren, gestures for you, walks over to kind of the main group.
Did you say she gestures like to me, or she gestures for me to like come over?
She gestures for you to come over.
Okay. I'm just gonna give Anna like a big hug and then walk over to Ezmerelda.
She looks at all of you and she says, well, I don't know what. I don't really know what to say here. I was hoping we could be able to have a different kind of attack plan conversation, but not under these circumstances. Emil at this point, I will say, is currently in a wolf form and sleeping on the porch, to the point where he just kind of like rolls over and wakes up and just kind of walks over and then shapes back into a person. Wystera, where have you been during this all that? Were you like in a full sleep? Were you in a full rest, or were you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you yourself kind of like you're on and walk back outside. You have the benefits of a full long rest.
Right on. Thank you.
Yeah. So Ezmerelda says, so where's all your heads at right now?
I don't know. This is all. She's blaming herself. It's not her fault. Doesn't matter what we do, it's not going to fix it.
Kari, I haven't seen that. Really? I don't. I didn't know that was I mean, I was going through every house trying to make sure everyone's okay, and I didn't go to his house. I didn't see anything happening, so I just didn't think it was fuck. No, you're right. It's not our fault. It's not.
You can't blame yourself either.
I mean, what are we doing? Like, we're just like, okay, look, Squally and I talked, and we got another lead on the sword. Like, we think that something to do with the sword has to do with whatever the pool says or something. I don't know, but look, we can do something. We gotta stop. Just, I don't know how to say it. Does anybody else have anything to say? I don't.
Is Wystera still asleep given her long rest, or is she up?
Do you want Wystera to still be asleep, or do you want her to be awake?
Well, actually, I think it's funnier if she is still asleep.
Okay,
It's been a while, so I'll leave her there if I have a choice. Thanks.
sure. Wystera's still asleep. Ezmerelda looks at all of you and just goes, normally it's interesting. Most of the times I do this by myself and I don't know what to do, and I'm stuck on trying to, I hit a wall and I don't know where I'm supposed to go from here. And sometimes I think somebody else or other people would be able to solve the solution or find the solution, solve it better than I could. It's very interesting to see a bunch of people not having an idea about what to do, same as me. It's good to know that I'm not really alone in this.
Well, all I can think is there's nothing that we can do to fix all of this that's already happened. We can't bring her husband back. We can go kill the abbot. That was our plan. That still is the plan, I'm pretty sure. And he's the one that blinded the guy in the first place. If it's anyone's fault, it's his. But even if we kill him and get what? Vengeance? That's not going to help her.
It's not.
Maybe it'll help some other people, but it's not going to stop her from blaming herself for this. It's not going to stop her from feeling all the grief that she's feeling.
You're right. It won't. And if we are to kill him, we also have to remember where we are. I don't look, the abbot is insane and dangerous and is, I would say, the one mainly responsible for this. But a lot of things probably came into play. A lot of things led to this. It's not just because of one thing. And you're right, going after him, killing him because of this, he is dangerous. And he should be run out. But we have to remember, too, who is interested in him. I know that you all came here to kill the abbot, but I personally feel as if it is a a bad idea at this point. Only because of this. If you kill the abbot, you set a timer. Strahd had an interest in going to the abbey before. He goes to the abbey to check and see on him, maybe even his bride, whatever, but you start a timer. If he comes back to see the abbot, or someone else comes to see the abbot that knows about Strahd and informs him that he's been killed, then there's nothing that we can really do. We have to then kill Strahd. We have to go and fight him. And what you're talking about with this sword, if there are things that you need to be able to find, if there are things that you're looking for, I don't know how to kill Strahd. I got a good drop on him, and what I had was not enough. He ran away from me, but even I could tell that what I was using was not efficient. And I can only give you so much. And you all look quite capable, but I feel as if there are still pieces missing. But I can only give a small bit of advice. If we want to go kill the abbot right now, I say let's fucking do it. Just fuck him. And fuck the fact that he did this to her. Did this to these people. And why did he blind him in the first place? I don't understand.
He asked if the abbot could bring back his son. For some reason, the abbot decided to take his eyesight.
And do you know how he was going to give it back, if he would at all give it back?
Think that's somewhat. I think we could have done something, but we were working on something. We never got the chance to fix it. Well, who's to say he would have anyways? The guy's completely insane.
You're right. You're right.
Wally steps in. From what the sense I get about this sun sword, maybe that's the piece that's missing. Apparently the sun sword is very, very powerful. Maybe that's the weapon that can take out Strahd. I don't know, but the sound of it, sun sword. Have you heard of this, Ezmerelda?
From what I know of it, it's not, it's a legend. And it's something that my people know about from, well, it's interesting. Sometimes it's part of readings. It's tied in sometimes to this land, but it's one reason I don't prescribe to it, because as far as I can tell, I have no idea where it is. Most people don't. And it's tied to readings that cause a lot of people to lose their lives. And I am someone who prescribes to faiths, kind of, but I find it dangerous to go treasure hunting. It's not one of my specialities. Monster hunting, ironically, I find is a little bit more, what's the word? It's a little bit, healthier to a certain extent.
Squally says, and Squally turns heel and heads back to the pool.
Okay.
And this time asks, where in this land? Then she stopped. Then he stops. No. Where are the pieces of the sun sword? And then Squally sits down to listen.
You hear a voice that says, my memory, I held it in my hands. It scattered to the wind. The light remained. My light, my love. I am too weak. I can be renewed, but something must be laid to rest. The champion, the dragon, it must be laid to rest. I see bones. I feel decay. Darkness. I don't know where I am, but I must keep her safe. Brother. Why, brother, why? I'm sorry. But I'm glad that this part of the world is not yours. I hope I will not disappear. At this point, you find that the conversation is no longer with you, but the actual, like, the water seems to be speaking to the earth at this point. And this is a conversation that Squally is not able to dive into. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Squally nods, sends a prayer of thanks in his mind, and goes back to the group and relays what he heard.
All you hear is the final thing is keep her safe. It goes off. And this, Ezmerelda doesn't know what to make of any of this. She's like, okay, well, that's interesting. Do you talk to the water then? That's interesting. It's quite wow. At this moment, I will just say Ezmerelda disappeared just for a moment to wherever Wystera was sleeping. Wystera's not awake at this point, but Ezmerelda just disappeared to wherever that is and comes back with everyone else. So she says, look, I will be able to make sure Anna is taken care of for a moment. I do have to get going to other things, and we can find some people maybe to take care of her, make sure she's okay. I know she's going to have a lot of responsibilities, but it sounds like we have others as well. And I know that this can seem a lot. It is. It's why I don't stay here. So I never want to be here again, but there's something that pulls me back every time. So I'm gonna ask, what the fuck are we going to do? Sometimes I wish I could. There's one person I know I could talk to with this, and listen. If we all decide that we want to kill this piece of shit, I would absolutely be willing to do that. But there's another thing that we could do. But it would also take more time, and I don't know. I've been struggling. I'm trying to find someone in these lands, someone who is a much better hunter than I was. I have them to thank for who I am. If we can find him, maybe he can give suggestions. But again, it might take forever. I've been looking and I can't find him anywhere. And I don't want to give you more to do. I don't. I feel like there's a lot and not enough time.
This is all just to Wystera, or is this to the group?
No, this is everybody. Wystera's not with you guys.
Okay, this is just to the group. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think just staying here, killing one insane guy on top of a hill is gonna do anything in the grand scheme of things. But I just don't know. Feels like such a big task to just go out and fix the whole curse on this land.
Kari at this moment. I am looking for someone too. And I don't know where he is. Eren, I know it's tough, but it seems like this one person is causing a lot of people to lose their selves, and it's getting a lot of people hurt. Now, I know it seems like a lot. Eren, I want you just to make a charisma check for me, please.
That's a 7.
7. Okay. Kari looks at you and says, "You know, I feel as if we should retrace our steps. I think we should go back to the Wizard of Wines. I think if we go there, we might be able to go back to that reading, that spirit board thing, and I think we could find something there."
The only problem with that is they asked us to do one thing, and we're going to come back and tell them that we didn't do that.
Yeah, we are. We're going to own our mistakes. I'm tired of having to run from the shit that we've done, and we fucked up. We fucked up here. We fucked up in Valaki. We fucked up at that castle. We're fucking a lot of people up right now. And I think we got to stop running from that, because when we run from it, we just make things worse. At least I think that's what a leader does. I don't know.
I agree. We keep trying. When are we going to feel like we actually did something right?
I don't think that's for us to decide. Kari kind of gets whatever stuff ready to go.
I just look to Squally and to Sly.
Sly just gives a shrug. Says, "Can always come back and kill the abbot another day. When we're more prepared to deal with the consequences that Strahd will face us with.
Squally goes a little orange and says, I think whatever will give us more information is a good idea. I feel like we're floating around a bit, just not knowing what we're supposed to do. So if the Wizard of Wines has that, I'd be willing to go back. Then he looks at Eren.
Well, guess we should go wake up Wystera because we're going to the Wizard of Wines.
Ezmerelda says, I'll take care of that. Goes back inside. She says, you can all go over to my wagon. She kind of glares at a mill and makes her way over. Wystera, as you're asleep, you feel something kind of like jostle at your side. And you wake up. You see Ezmerelda is taking the silvered short sword and she is tying it right back onto her belt, taking it away from you.
Fair enough. A lovely wake up, though.
You know, I want to just say something right now. I'm all here for the interest and the desire to learn and to, take a little bit of a fascination with myself, because I know I'm probably someone that your privileged face and your perfect life, you didn't have to worry about someone who had to get down into the actual world and get their hands dirty and see things like this. And probably there's not a lot that you really come to care about, but I want you to know this from me, because for some reason I feel like I'm the only person you really respect out of everyone that you're with. I want you to know it really doesn't do anything for me when I see someone who's apathetic to other people and their sorrows and their situation. And I also want you to know that as much as it can be fun to be powerful, domineering, we had a hell of a lot of fun to put someone in their place and to feel like you are on top of it, dominating them in some way. It means a lot more to care about someone and to care about others. It's harder to do that. It's easy to be better than other people, to feel strong. You wear that really well. Maybe you should try the other one. He gets up, looks at you, waits for a response.
I guess we'll have to see what happens.
She punches you in the face and then walks right outside.
Well, that's more like it.
And then she goes. You guys get on the wagon. And Ezmerelda summons the steeds. You guys begin to go out the gates. And you begin to travel to, I'm assuming, the Wizard of Wines. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next time we pick up the campaign. Well.
That's almost as awesome as one of our evenings ending with a certain elf kicking Richard in the dick. And Wystera gets punched in the face.
Yeah.
Hard to do
Yeah.
that yeah. It's hard to do that shit.
Outstanding.
Oh, Jesus.
To be fair, you kind of earned that one.
Oh yeah, I
You're
yeah.
like, oh, this lady's wife or husband commit suicide. I need a nap.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I didn't
mean-
see that coming. I was like, fuck.
What a dick she is.
I'm glad you said it. We couldn't. We didn't want to say anything. Shit. All right. Well, I'm just gonna stop up a little recording here. Probably say a couple things afterwards. But to everybody else, thanks for watching this. We really appreciate it. Feel free to just subscribe to Novice DMing. Check us out on Facebook, and then yeah, tune in next time to see what happens as we go back to the Wizard of Wines. Love you all so much. Take care, everyone.